Hello, beautiful people. How are you? Today I'm talking about 3D and 5D and putting maybe a slightly different spin on it. The spin that was given to me by the emissaries. I'll tell you all about it on the other side. So I had a conversation with a friend and he was telling me about the moments in which he felt happiness. And he was saying, do you know, I had a moment where I just felt happiness. I really felt happy. And then it went. Okay? And it got me to thinking about where we are at the moment. I mean, we are in, we've got either foot in two different worlds, really. Two different worlds. I saw a beautiful meme of two circles, the two circles where the overlap in the middle and there's that like slightly darker bit. And one side was the apocalypse and the other one was just going to work. And they said, I often find myself in that little bit in between, kind of apocalypse going to work. Yeah. We're in funny times. And sometimes we can have really difficult moments and sometimes we can have really blissful moments. So when I was meditating with the emissaries, I thought, well, I'll ask them what their opinion is about all of this. And the 3D, 5D thing that's going on. I mean, 5D is dropping off the tongues of everybody at the moment. I mean, it's very vogue, isn't it, 5D? So I said to them, so when are we in 3D? What would you say was 3D? Okay. And they said 3D for us, when we're deeply in 3D, is where we are feeling fearful, sad, hurt, guilty, upset. Okay. And they said the difference is right, they're emotions that are found in 3D. Okay, but they're not bad emotions. There's nothing wrong with them. Every emotion that we feel, fear is a feeling that we get so that we actually get ourselves ready to protect ourselves. We take action, we make plans, etc. Yeah. Each emotion that comes, hurt, when you're hurt, is an emotion that's going to generate a need to heal. You have to find a way of healing when you've been hurt. Yeah, you have to go into a healing process, and that's not just physically, but that's also spiritually, emotionally, etc. So kind of like if you imagine these emotions are little flags that go up, little red flags that say action needs to be taken. Unfortunately, what happens with most of the emotions that we feel, we don't take any action. We just feel them and we just let them eat us up, until we're rotten inside with these emotions. But all of the emotions are kind of like going, hey, sort this out. Okay. So they're not emotions. Negative emotions are not bad, right? They're just like the minus of the plus. That's all. So they are very 3D. You won't find those emotions in 5D. Okay. That doesn't mean that all 3D emotions are these bad ones, but that's what the emissaries give me. But what they said was this: 3D is perfectly fine. 3D is where we are supposed to be. 3D is what we've chosen to come to live in. But they said the problem that occurs is when we start to identify ourselves as those emotions. You see, I think the idea is that we come to this 3D to feel these emotions. Remember, beyond that, we can't feel them. They don't exist. This is the realm. This is why we come here. Right, so let's just get down to basics. What would be the point of coming to Earth to feel happiness and joy and love and peace? Yeah? What would be the point of coming here? There wouldn't be, because we've got them all over there already. There's nothing to learn from that. Does that make sense? There's nothing that we learn from that. We come here because this is the only place where we can get a bit of fear, where we can get a bit of Yeah? Up there, there's none. Okay? That's why they're all watchers. That's why they're all watching, because they haven't got that. They go, way, look at that. Good God. How are they managing? Yeah? So, what the emissaries were saying was there's nothing wrong with 3D. 3D is good. That's the whole point of us coming here. But it's when we start to identify ourselves with the emotions. What does that mean? That means the I am. Yeah? When we start saying I am. Because whatever you think you are, you're more than that. Right? I am a teacher. That is the most limiting statement I can make about myself. Yeah? How is that all that I am? You know, whatever you are, when people say, I'm a policeman. Really? Is that all that you are? You know, in parties here in 3D world, parties, you go into a party and somebody says, so what do you do then? Yeah? Like the worst question, I would never ask anybody, what do you do then? You know, I much prefer so tell me about yourself. What do you like to do? You know, what are your passions? Beautiful information. Very, very heading toward 5D. Now, what do you do? I'm a policeman. Oh, and of course, what happens is somebody tells you what they are. I'm a teacher. And the person who's listening then thinks back through all of the teachers that they've ever had. And the mind says, right, there you are. Have I had a good experience or a bad experience with that? And sometimes, most times, for anyone who's been to school, the experience is a bad one. They go, teacher, teacher. We all know what teachers are like, right? I mean, how limiting is that? But that's limiting because of the way that we present ourselves. I'm a teacher. I'm a policeman. Yeah, I'm a nurse. Do you dance? Do you do TikTok? Okay, unfortunately, this is the way our minds work. Okay, so when we identify ourselves with our emotions, I am depressed. I am sad. Yeah, I'm hurt. That is the biggest lie ever, because you are not depressed. You are not hurt. You are not sad. That's not who you are. You are the observer of all of these things. You observe them, but you aren't depression. That would be ridiculous. I am depression. No, I am depressed. No, that's the identification with the feeling, with the 3D. Bad move. Bad move. Okay? So how do you not identify with it? Well, you know, it's a lifelong journey. It's a lifelong journey. But it's moving from being the victim to the victor. Yeah. So the victim is this. I'm depressed. You hurt me. You made me feel sad. Yeah. What you did has left me depressed. That's a victim. It's not my fault. It's all your fucking fault. Yeah? Now, that's very 3D. That's extremely 3D. You can't get much more 3D than that. Why? Because it leaves you unempowered. It leaves you in a place where there's nothing you can do about it because it's not your fault. Yeah? So you have no need to do anything. What can you do? Was even my doing, wasn't it? Wasn't my fault. What can you do? What can you do? Life's a bitch. They're all a bunch of bastards. Yeah? Powerless 3D floating around in the shit. Yeah? The victor is the one that says, ooh, I'm noticing a feeling here. There's a feeling of hurt. Okay? Now what's that saying? I am noticing a feeling of hurt. I am the observer of what's going on. Yeah? I'm noticing. When you start doing that, then what happens is that you don't have to look for blame then. Yeah, because when you were hurt, I'm hurt, that means somebody's hurt me. Yeah, no, I'm noticing a feeling of hurt. What's that about? What could have brought that on? Okay, remember that every feeling that you have created. Nobody has the power to create a feeling inside of you unless they physically hit you over the head or stab you with a knife. Then definitely they created that feeling. But if they say some words to you and you feel something like a dagger, it's your dagger. It's your feeling, right? Once you understand that, then it sets you free. You're free. That means that nobody has power over you. You see, if you've made the feeling, that means you can unmake it. That's the beautiful thing about it. That's the beautiful thing about being the victim. This is, why? What am I doing to make this feeling? Well, what I'm doing is I'm thinking about what that person said, and I'm thinking about all the good things that I did for them before, and then I'm noticing how that makes me feel here. All right? That's what we're doing. We do all of the work. People don't have to do anything to hurt us. They just have to say some words and let us do all the donkey work, yeah? All right. So identifying the feeling with you is something that we can stop. Beautiful expression. Before enlightenment, I used to feel depression. After enlightenment, I continued to feel depression, but it didn't really bother me. Okay? So what happens is that stuff can happen to us, but if we observe it, then all the sting's taken out of it. You know, and you can... So this is what the emissaries were saying, okay? There's nothing wrong with feeling these feelings. Embrace them, enjoy them. That's the whole point. Enjoy them. Enjoy sadness. But that's the whole point of us being here. Celebrate them. That's probably the better word, not enjoy them. But hey, if you like that sort of thing, enjoy it as well. Remember that every crisis that we have is leading us to a better place. Every crisis that we have is part of our hero's journey of fighting the monster. Every emotion that we feel is helping to teach us. These are teachers that are coming in. That's why we come here, to be taught the lessons that we learn, that we can't learn outside of this realm. The lessons that we learn through fear and anger and hate and sadness. Okay? But just remember, they're not us. I is something completely different. Okay? I'm the observer of all of that. Right? So, what's 5D then? That was a long way around the 3D area, but anyway, what's 5D? So the emissaries say 5D is when we are laughing, when we're loving, when we're enjoying something, when we're meditating. A moment of happiness is when we shift into 5D. Now, the thing is with that, we can't do it on purpose. So many people are working so hard to stay in 5D. It's like an obsession. It's an attachment. 5D is becoming an attachment. Now, what happens is when you attach to it, that means you start, as soon as you have an attachment, you're in fear of losing it. I've got 5D, but what if I lose it? Boom, out of 5D. 5D, and those moments have to be thoughtless moments. I'll give you the perfect example of a 5D moment. A 5D moment, you just have to watch your dog, all right? So the dog's like this, and it's going, and then suddenly it goes. That moment of there is nothing else in my world except the thing that I'm focusing my attention on. They stop breathing, everything stops. That's kind of the moment. We can't manufacture those moments. Those moments come to us. We can't make them happen. And the problem is when we try and make them happen, then either we fool ourselves, right? Like, I'm very 5D, okay? Or they just don't happen and we get disappointed with ourselves. So what happens is this. If you stop identifying with those negative feelings, what are supposed to be negative feelings, but let's just say the minus of the plus. If you stop identifying and just let them go and keep asking the question, what are they here to teach me? What is that feeling of sadness here to teach me? You'll find yourself automatically jumping into the 5D, into the happiness, and you'll find that you'll spend more time there. Will you spend all of your time there? No, because we're living in 3D. Get that out of your head. All right? When we get into 5D, whenever that'll be, I don't know, then you can live in 5D all the time. Okay? But for the moment, we're in 3D, and so just enjoy those brief moments where we go in and like, way. But you can manufacture them in some ways of being with beautiful people and laughing and talking about wonderful things and uplifting one another. That's when you're in that moment as the dog. Time stops. There's nothing else of interest. You know, you never think about picking your phone up when you're in a beautiful conversation and it's just going like this. That's 5D. It's heaven on earth. Yeah. So there we are. So we don't need to strive for it. It comes naturally. But what we need to do is separate ourselves from those emotions. That's not who we are. Whatever you are, you're more than what you think you are. And even when you think of the things that you're more than that. Okay, have a beautiful day, have a beautiful weekend. I'll see you all later. Bye-bye, I love you all.